Hello everyone, this is Pedro Romero back at it again with another Dota 2 interview. This time I am accompanied by Francis Flea Lee. He's a professional Dota 2 player who plays currently for Alpha, a team that just secured qualification to Division 1 in the North American DPC for the 2022-2023 season from this past summer tour. And so, Flea, thank you so much once again for taking the time and doing this interview. You know, the season just ended for the DPC. The summer tour just ended. Your team secured qualification. You are personally back up to Division One, and so I'd just like to ask, how are you doing right now at this current moment in time?
Uh, Great. Yeah. Thank you for taking time for interviewing me.
And so, like, how are you feeling? With the team. Given that you've been able to qualify for Division One or get back up to Division One, uh, with your new team Alpha in the summer tour. How has the process been like for you? From the start of the tour all the way until the moment in which you secured qualification.
Oh, my carry and my mid player reached out to me that they want to play with me, and yeah, it started from there. And we recruited Monster and Pingo. I personally recruited Pingo, and yeah, we have high expectation. Like before the tour started, I told everyone that we should have a clean sweep for the division two. Like we would have zero losses basically. So yeah, and that's what happened. We had zero losses or like no series that we lost. We're
Yes,
undefeated.
yeah, you guys went undefeated 7-0, but except for like a few games, a few like match losses during the season within a particular series, you guys managed to stay afloat throughout the entire time. And going 7-0, beating the rest of the field in Division 2, did you expect, or you expected, for this team to be good, but did you expect for this team to actually go undefeated 7-0?
Yeah. I mean, it's the capabilities of everyone. Like we have the skill set of being a good player and a Division One player, and yeah, I'm kind of like the almost leader of the team. So like, I know myself that I can get this team to Division One, and we can have undefeated scoreline.
Mm-hmm. And so I'd like to just fall back a little or move forward into like the moment in which uh you finish your last match of the season, you finish that 7-0, running the table. And so I like to know like your personal reaction, or your like how you felt when you secured that promotion and finished it undefeated with your team.
We were definitely happy. I was happy, but it's always for we always look for the bigger things, like long term was like we didn't play for anything. It's basically just Division One spot for next season, and that's next season is like after TI. But we're not gonna play any DPC anymore. And the goal for this team is to qualify for TI basically, and nothing much else. Like this 7-0 is just just a given. We're supposed to 7-0 because we're good players, and the main goal is like qualify for TI, especially this year, considering we have a lot of slots for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
every region.
Then I guess, given your previous answers, I guess it's fair to say that you were confident against the rest of the team, against the other teams. You know, given that the rest of the field also, or the rest of the field, or some parts of the rest of the competing field, have already played in Division One. For example, Dog Champ, Arkosh. You know,
Mm.
you were very confident in that regard.
Yeah. As I said, I know myself that I can make any team a good team just being there. I think I put effort and I have a big impact. Usually, like I try to be a better teammate and maybe a leader. Well, Dog Champ, like Arkosh, like they were Division One, I think, last season. So
And I think an additional avenue that's to be considered when it comes to examining how well Alpha did in the summer tour is the fact that you guys had a coach, that him being Max. He's already been experienced within this game for many years and working as an analyst and also as a coach, like somewhat in unison. And so, how has he been, as a coach, working with him for this season in conjunction with, the general like mindset of confidence or high confidence in taking on the rest of of Div 2?
Oh, I mean, he's very helpful. Like, we're very grateful for him. He reminds us stuff on what to fix and what to do before the game starts. Like, he gives us goals for individual people, like make us practice what kind of things we need to work on. Yeah, it's just a good coach. Uh, Having him beside us or having him around to really help us was like probably big factor too that we went sweep the whole division to the summer tour.
You mentioned the sort of goals that each player had to like fulfill. I'd like for you to elaborate on that front. What kind of goals did he set out for like the players, if you can like name them, and also for you, like what sort of goals did he want you to accomplish in this tour?
Um, for individually, like just the basic things like hero, like map movements, like all this basic stuff. Like yeah, and then personally for me, it's just he's teaching me on how to be a better leader, teammate. That's pretty much it. But like assignments, he give us assignments like watching replays, something like that.
And as a leader, it, when one becomes a leader, obviously in a game such as Dota, they shoulder many responsibilities. Engineering drafts, working with coaches, if there are any in within Division Two, making sure the rest of the team has like a good semblance of synergy, just so that can translate into W's in games. And so, being the leader of the team, did you feel like burdened or like pressure, to become such a good leader and lead the team to success?
I don't think it's a burden, and I don't think it's a pressure as well. Maybe it's just like slightly difficult because I'm usually not the leader, but in this team, like I'm like the most experienced player. Like I've been to lands, I've been playing Dota for so long as well. So like I kind of like have to take it, like the role. I mean, and I'm natural too, so it's like it's not that hard to transition from being a regular teammate to a leader.
On top of that, you've been, as you mentioned, a member of many teams in the past within this region. Starting from like roughly a decade ago, you played with many notable names, many notable teams, and to go from a teammate or like a contributing member of a team to then becoming the focal point or the leader or the main focus of the team. How do you like view your transition from your past experience or like from your past positions until your current position right now?
Oh, I mean, I just grow as a person, right? Like back then, I was like very introverted. I don't talk that much, even in pubs. But now, like I'm very vocal. Like I know what to do. I know what I want. When I'm angry about something, I express it. Like I don't just hide it or I don't bottle it up. It's better to talk than not talk at all. I think in this game, because communication is really important inside and outside of the game.
And I guess like in a way, when you look at or when one looks at a career with many uh or many like movements between rosters, like this sort of necessity to be more vocal and open up is like necessary, to sort of stay alive within this professional scene, and especially like in a region such as NA, which in which many players have seen it as like volatile, given that in certain landscape of teams staying afloat for a given amount of time. And I guess like, did you feel like you had to like grow as a person? Did you feel like this sort of urgency to be more vocal and not stay as introverted as before?
Yeah, I mean it's the culture, right, of NA or North America or US, whatever, Canada. Like if you don't say anything, then nothing's gonna happen, basically. And yeah, I mean it's people have different culture. People are like some people are come from different states or countries. Like a person like me, I'm an immigrant, so I have a different culture back then than now. I adapted obviously. So people will have clashes with egos and values in their lives or philosophy, something like that.
And taking that into consideration in switching between many teams for many years, uh, there's also a sort of like mental strain that certain players experience as a result of such circumstances. And so for you to still be here, it sort of like it's one to marvel at. And so like for you, like how have you maintained like your focus in trying to be continue to being a professional Dota player, and maintaining your mentality, while constantly changing teams throughout your career?
Oh, I mean, as I said earlier, it's like me growing up. I think I'm easy to like get to know. Like it's my personality. Like I'm an easygoing person, so like I just hang out with anyone in NA, or like that's why I've been to like a million teams. Like all the players in NA probably like played with them in a team. Like, maybe yeah, like probably 90% of the players in NA played with them already. So yeah, I'm easy to work with. I listen. Like I have a good work ethic. I show up always. Yeah, I think, and generally being nice, because we have a problem of toxicity in the game itself, and then the pro scene, like people have egos, like they think they're good, something like that. So it just adds up the value.
Has there been a particular player in mind that has like helped you navigate within your career? Sort of giving you advice, to be better. Has there been a particular player that's like helped you the most compared to the rest that you've played with?
Yeah, I do have one. It's Stan King, actually, my former teammate. Yeah, he kind of retired now, but I think he was the best teammate I've had. He was really helpful to me in my personal growth as a player and as a person. Like he helped me inside and outside of the game. He was like a father figure, because I was really young back then, and experiencing outside of the world, because we was playing Dota.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to him. Is getting married soon.
Of course, of course. Uh, and have you seen yourself like as you continue your career? Has the thought ever come to you that maybe you're like sort of like emulating like his approach in helping you to then helping others? In your recent string of teams.
I definitely pick it up. Like all the habits that he had, or all the things that he taught me, I definitely pick it up and pass it to my teammates or friends, whatever.
Mhm. And in recent years, there's been a new generation or a new crop of players that are coming in the professional scene and trying to start their careers. Uh, from your perspective, who do you think of new the new incoming players, so like the new rookies, if I might say, sort of like resembles you from like the past?
Uh, I would say Lil Nick.
Uh,
I can see myself in him.
can you repeat that again? Because I might have
Oh,
not.
I said. Oh, I would say Lil Nick.
Lovely.
Yeah, Lil Nick from
Oh, Little
Arlington
Nick.
Forest.
Oh,
Yeah,
Little
Lil
Nick.
Nick.
Little Nick.
Lil
Okay. Okay.
Nick. Yeah, Lil Nick.
So what what about him like has you thinking that maybe he resembles like yourself? from back then?
I mean, he's a really good player, but he's kind of young. I saw myself in him. Sometimes he shows up late. He has a lot of emotions too. So I kind of saved myself on him. And yeah, he's gonna be the next big thing, next years or whatever, next tours.
All right, so you're already putting that on the record. Next big thing, you probably might see
Yep.
Little Nick as the
Oh,
next Samel or a Miracle or something like that.
yep. You can call me on that. I discovered him.
Okay. All right, perfect, perfect. Well, I'll be sure to keep this part of the interview in my saved folder. So we'll see about that. Taking a direction or taking the focus back to like how your career has gone recently in the DPC. As much as most know, you've been a member of simplyTOOBASED, the team that started off in the Division One. In the start of the 2021-2022 DPC season, the one which has just recently concluded, and so you guys obviously, for lack of a better term, didn't do pretty well from that point on. You struggled in Division One, and then in Tour One, and then in Division Two, you guys were then relegated in the Spring Tour, and so you know from your perspective, given that it's been some time since you left simplyTOOBASED, that team, I'd like to know, like, from your perspective, what went wrong with that team? What restricted it from performing well in the DPC?
Oh, I was just like lack of motivation individually. I think people are just bored. They don't want to do anything. Just want to play, practice, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably just burnout too from individual.
Mm-hmm.
People have been playing for so long. Like the team has been playing for so long. Same players. So yeah.
And I guess like from that sort of like environment that you've been in, did you feel as if like that sort of like burnout or like mental fatigue got into your head? Did you feel as if that was like that sort of vibe got into your head?
I mean, it only takes one person to have a bad day or bad season to ruin the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
One person can affect the whole team. So yeah, it could be me, it could be anyone, and if we're in the same team, then you don't have that motivation, then there's like zero chance the team's gonna work out. Everyone needs to have the same mindset or whatever. Like everyone should have the same discipline. If one person is dipping out, like then it's not gonna work, regardless of how good you guys are.
And I guess by that regard, moving from two based to then alpha was basically night and day, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the players are hungry, so it was one of the main reason I joined the team because they reach out to me. So you're taking the initiative, like, oh, we want to play with you, and we think we're gonna be good. So yeah, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll join.
It was basically that quick. You just basically said like, "Say no more, fam. I'm there."
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Uh, from with that sort of mindset and that sort of like renewed mind, or with that sort of renewed mindset, Alpha would then play in the TI-11 qualifiers. As most know, as I'm sure you would know, the qualifying format has been sort of altered for this year's edition. I believe there'll be two teams that will play in the LCQ, which is in the prelude to the actual event. And so, taking a look at Alpha is obviously one of the strongest teams, or the teams that are on fire ahead of the start of that competition. And so, how do you view like how what is the team's like general outlook towards the the TI-11 qualifiers?
We're feeling very good right now because we just snowballed the TPC Division Two, and we're playing a tournament right now, a third party tournament. But yeah, I think everyone's goal is just to qualify for TI, step by step. Once one step at a time. Right now, we're focusing on getting better as a team, as usual. Uh, Still practicing even after the break. Still screaming. So it's gonna be like less than 2 months from now, I guess. I don't know when is the TI qualifier, but it never hurt to practice. So we're just gonna keep practicing until the TI qualifiers is announced. And yeah, we're probably gonna work harder once we know when it's gonna be.
One thought just struck into my head. How is the general like? What is the general schedule of alpha? You know, when it comes to like preparing for tournaments and TPC matches. You know, I'd like to know like what is the general like week in the life or like a day or week in the life to of yourself playing with this team. You know, what is the preparation like? You know, how do you like focus on matches and such like that?
Uh, Usually scrim starts at afternoon. Depends on if you have two sets or one set of screams, but before that, people like play pubs to warm up or anything that can warm you up, and anything that can get you the groove to play a official or a scrim. So yeah, it's like warm up and then practice or official. Then after that, you watch replays. If you're playing scrim, you watch replays. If you're playing official, you just watch replays. Same thing. It's a it's a team to team basis. So some teams don't have day off. My team has a day off, so you have a day off on the weekend. That's pretty much it. But the rest of the days, like, we're just practicing and playing.
And I guess that's sort of like necessity to like have fatigue or the necessity to like take a break and you know take a that day off. Uh, is sort of necessary or like very crucial to have because like in this sort of like environment as I mentioned before, you know, volatile uncertainty regarding you know if you're going to like maintain that success or like have a like a good standard of living, you know, off of being a professional Dota 2 player in NA, it does like adds a level of scrutiny, you know, behind, you know, preparing as like a Div 2 player and stuff like that. And, you know, how have you viewed like the energy management, you know, of players and teams from elsewhere in Division 2?
I don't know what they do, but personally, it's just whoever plays more. I think whoever plays more will be better. I think that's a general rule of thumb. Like when you spend 2 times or maybe 10,000 hours of playing Dota than your counterpart, then you'll probably be better. Unless you stop learning the game. So that's that. But I think regardless, it's just who plays more or who spent time the most. Not just playing, like watching replays as well.
Yeah, but then again, it might like have an adverse effect in a player's progression because you know overwork might then lead to like backwards or a negative or like a regression in their overall performance. You know, so what do you think of like the risk of like doing too much when it comes to like playing too much Dota? Do you think the other players have taken that into consideration within this region at this current moment in time?
Uh, I mean, it's just individual stuff. I think it depends on the person. If because sometimes you stop learning because either you hit your peak or like you hit a wall and you learning curve. So yeah, like but Dota's evolving always, so you always learn a new thing every day. Even me, I learn new stuff every day in Dota that I didn't know that existed before. It's like the patches, like small stuff, like it's switching, it's evolving every time.
Can you elaborate like or can you give me an example of like one of the newest things that you've learned you know recently in your career?
Uh, like Dawnbreaker. I didn't know that you could blink while you're casting spells with this first skill. That specific enough?
That's perfect. That's fine by me, man.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. Uh, it's sort of like veered off of the TI-11 qualifier, so I'd like to go back to that. Um, is there a particular team that you're looking forward to face? You know, is there one team that you like targeted as like the one team that you really want to take on in TI-11 qualifying?
It's probably Zoomers or Nouns. If we beat them, we're gonna go to the TI. So
What about the rest of Div 1? You know, Fibrat, the Cut, Belt. You know, although both of the latter teams have been relegated to Division
relegated.
2.
I mean, I care about them too, but I think, I see like the end goal is like just beat like Zoomers and they just like qualify to TI, and you just gotta figure it out. Like obviously, you can't forget the other teams,
Mhm.
but I think we're confident that we can beat any other team, like right now. Assuming Quincy and EG get third invited. If not, then there's gonna be one more problem.
And by now, but as it stands right now, TSM have basically almost like
They're
they're
invited already. Yeah.
yeah, they've basically secured the qualification as a result of runners up in the Stockholm major. So yeah, it all depends on what happens in the Arlington major, and
Yeah.
so we'll see how those two teams will perform. And so about the Arlington major, you know, how do you think, like, what are your expectations for both Quincy Crew and Evil Geniuses in Texas?
I know Quincy will do well because they have the same roster. They always do well. Like maybe average at least. At the very least, they'll do like mediocre result, but I think that's good enough if you're doing average. That's it's not a negative result or whatever. That's just like in the middle. AG is like maybe they'll do well, maybe they're not. We'll see. I mean, they have a good track record on major, like second place, So like we'll see. Maybe they'll win this time because it's NA, or maybe they'll be second place again, or maybe they'll choke. It's random. They're good players, obviously, so they won the DPC, the tiebreaker. So
Right. You basically we never know what's going to happen with EG because they've basically been memed on for basically
yeah,
all eternity. Uh, so we'll just wait and see what happens in Texas. Uh, you know, for looking inwards into your career, you've been playing this game for, I can only assume, like a decade at least. Uh, Around a decade. In that, as a matter of fact. And so, you know, how long do you see yourself, you know, playing this game competitively, you know, as an actual professional?
I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna retire this year.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I might retire this year. So maybe I'm stopping this year, 2022.
Hmm. So like it's basically in your mind, it's like basically you have to do well in DPC next year or next season, and then it's if it doesn't happen, then it's a no go.
Um, if I don't qualify to TI, then I will probably think about retiring. Maybe I'll just retire on that spot.
So how long has that been on your mind? You know, to just
Oh, just this year. So,
so I guess it's like the thought just popped into your head, you know, instantaneously or like suddenly. So you
yeah.
know,
hmm
okay.
Everyone's retiring, so EE, right? Oh yeah, all those are my like former teammates that they're already retired. So it's like pushing me to the edge as well.
Also, yeah, because I've seen that Ryoya and IX Mike, if I remember correctly, they announced their retirements. I think this year. I might be wrong. I think IX Mike retired or announced his retirement last year. I might not be sure about that. Uh, and so by that regard, you know, you felt like upon being no up or upon knowing those announcements, you felt compelled to, you know, to just end it.
I mean, kinda, I guess, but I've been playing for so long, and it's like being a while and the burnout as well. So it's tiring and getting old. I'm not old, but I'm getting old. So I want to have probably a regular life after Dota.
Yes, speaking of like regular life, has there been anything that you've been focusing on, outside of your life besides being like a Dota player?
Uh, Not that much. I've just been looking to getting into schools. So
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay, well, basically, you're adding like, well, we're adding like the additions of like new interesting storylines for your career arc. A Blades of Glory at this TI 11 qualifiers. We'll see if you finally manage to qualify for TI this year. Because I understand, because on top of like thinking of retirement and stuff like that, you've been close to qualifying for TI in past years, and so like from your past failures of not qualifying, you did that add into like your decision of like retiring?
Uh, Kinda, yeah. It's frustrating not qualifying the TI, like the biggest tournament, and twice. So it's like it takes a toll on your mental health, and it's not a very good thing. So yeah, if I don't qualify for probably like the last straw, I'm gonna retire after. Hopefully not. That's not the case, right?
Mhm.
You don't want me again, right?
No, no, of course, like most every fan would like for you to stay, but of course, like if it's your since it's your decision, then we won't have any qualms about it, and we'll understand, why you had to like walk away. So whatever happens, we'll be good with what you decide. Uh, and yeah, I think that about like wraps up all of my questions for this interview. Oh, one more thing. Given that you've been a veteran of this scene for such a long time, I'd like to know like what kind of advice would you give to all of the NA players that are beginning to start their careers at this time.
Just don't be lazy. Show up all the time. Be punctual. Listen more to your teammates or your veteran teammates. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good work ethic. Be nice in general. Just don't be toxic at all.
Uh, I think in order to add on to that, what's been your biggest takeaway, from all of this, from throughout your career?
Takeaway, probably just work harder. Pretty much it. I personally didn't work harder back in the day, years ago, because I was really good. Like my talent, like always beat the hard work. But what I learned is it's not like it's always hard work beats the talent, not the other way around. The talent itself enough is not enough to be the greatest. Like all these athletes, like they spend like 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours of practicing. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. And so, hopefully TI 11 qualifiers, your hard work will finally bear fruit, and you manage to make the big stage finally. Uh, at this point in your career. Lee, thank you so much for taking the time to doing this interview once again. Uh, that has been Flea of Alpha, a North American team that just was just promoted to Division 1 for the 2022-2023 DPC season. I've been Pedro Romero, and with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.